We interrupt your regularly scheduled brainwashing with a dose of reality from CNS Dispatch. CNS. Citizens, not servants.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever happens to be while you're watching, and welcome to Dispatch number 11 from CNS Dispatch, where here we are citizens, not servants. Here at CNS, our goal is to bring you common sense truth to counter the lies that you have been fed from our government, big tech, and our global mainstream media. So, in this episode, I'm hoping to keep this rather quick and precise and to the point. I want to address Ukrainian President Zelensky, and it's kind of a tie-in to the last video I did with conditioning and gaslighting by our mainstream media. So, as most of us all know, Ukrainian President Zelensky addressed our Congress just the other day, begging for our assistance, trying to guilt us into helping him with his fight against Russia and all that stuff, right? That he needed money, he needed weapons, he needed arms, he needed assistance, he needed political and economic help, he needed more economic requested and asked for more economic sanctions against Russia and the whole gambit, right? So this is an article that CNN did about Zelensky's address to our Congress. It's very flattering, preying on guilt. You can read the article. It's right here. It's by CNN about President Zelensky's address and what all he asked for. So I just wanted to bring this up and make this rather kind of quick and precise. So not too long ago, President Trump, during his actual term as president, he was impeached because of a phone call that he and this gentleman had. If you guys remember, hopefully it hasn't been memory hold too long yet, that President Trump had a phone call with President Zelensky where he asked for his assistance looking into the whole Hunter Biden thing. And this is prevalent because just yesterday, the New York Times came out with an article and admitted that the Hunter Biden laptop whole thing was legit. Remember, if you don't remember, the New York Post did an article back in October of in 2020 with regards to Hunter Biden's laptop. It had all the pictures of him smoking crack, hanging out with prostitutes, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Well, that New York Post article was deleted from Twitter. People were banned from Twitter if they reposted it. Same with Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, etc. So back when the story originally broke, the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation and shouldn't be believed. Well, the New York Times had to come out and say that it was true. Well, I say all that because back when President Trump was president and the phone call took place, President Trump had asked President Zelensky to look into the whole Hunter Biden debacle. You remember at the time, the whole Hunter Biden was an executive or held an executive office with a company called Burisma, who was a natural gas company in Ukraine at the time. Well, the whole world went mad. It was the whole quid pro quo thing. And, Trump was trying to coerce Zelensky into doing certain things. Well, back then, President Zelensky said there was no quid pro quo. And the media totally dismissed what Zelensky had to say. So, again, this is CNN. This is the article that was written back in 2019, November 7th of 2019, that the oversight Dem says quid pro quo term might obscure Dem's case against Trump. It goes into the whole phone call thing about, okay, the term quid pro quo may not be the right term. Maybe they should use the term bribery. So back in 2019, when this phone call happened and the whole investigation took place, and the whole reason why Trump was investigated and impeached was because of this phone call with Zelensky. They did not believe, they totally dismissed President Zelensky at that time of what he said, that there was no bribery, there was no coercion, there was no quid pro quo. It was just a phone conversation between two national leaders. Well, fast forward a couple years, the current mainstream narrative that we're all being overwhelmed with is that poor Ukraine. They need our help. They need our assistance. Putin's a bad guy. Economic sanctions. We need to give Ukraine, military aid, lethal aid, and our troops need to go over there and fight the good fight, right? It's also funny that this comes out because 2 years ago, our media was saying the exact kind of opposite thing about President Zelensky. They were saying that back in 2019, President Zelensky doesn't know what he was talking about. He shouldn't be believed. He's being coerced by President Trump at the time, et cetera, ad nauseum. Well, fast forward 2 years when the narrative is now that poor Ukraine, we need to help them. We need to help them defend themselves. We need to give them military aid and all this stuff because of, Putin, the bad guy. Where were they 2 years ago? Why didn't they believe what Zelensky said 2 years ago? It's because of the narrative they were trying to paint. The narrative they were trying to paint then and the narrative they're trying to paint now. It's all about the whole who's useful to whom and when at, timing kind of plays, right? So back then in 2019, when Zelensky said there was no bribery, no coercion, no quid pro quo, well, the media totally dismissed him because that did not fit their narrative at the time of trying to prosecute Trump or trying to impeach Trump for the phone call. You guys all remember the whole whistleblower and Lieutenant Colonel Vidman and all that shit, right? Right? You guys all remember this. Well, fast forward 2 years. Well, now President Zelensky is virtuous. He's the hero of Ukraine. He's staying behind when he should have fled because he's this upstanding gentleman and he's fighting for his people. It's conditioning, people. This is just another example of conditioning that our mainstream media, or conditioning or gaslighting, however you want to kind of look at this, of what our media, in conjunction with the big tech, in conjunction with our government, is doing to us. You guys with me? I'll be doing more of these. I hope you like them. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, I'll say goodnight.
This has been a dose of reality from CNS Dispatch. Citizens, not servants. We now return you to your involuntary mental programming.